All right, welcome to episode 1 of Take the Shot with Rusty and Bags. I think that's a working title, to be honest with you.
I actually like it. I don't know why. It's I really enjoy it.
It's kind of a play on words, right? It's
Yeah.
Take the Shot because we're video guys. We
Yep.
are directors, TDs. We like live video production. That's what we do for a living. We also really are golf sickos, if I may say so myself.
I mean, honestly, I wish I did golf for a living.
100%.
Yeah.
Right, let's flip this around.
Yeah.
But so take the shot in golf and take the
That's
shot
right.
as the camera. So that's kind of what we're going with right now.
Yep.
But I'm Rusty.
Yep.
Jeremy,
Hey.
or AKA Bags,
That's right.
is here with you.
And one day we'll talk about Bags as a nickname, but yeah, we'll leave that for there.
Let's
for now.
let the people wonder for now.
That's
I
right,
actually don't
that's
even
right.
know where that came from. So,
I know. You're right.
so yeah, I think, if for those of you who are listening, welcome. Glad you're here. You may be wondering, asking yourself, why are these two idiots doing a podcast? Who needs
Right.
another podcast in their life? I personally have way too many podcasts in my life. And that's a fair question. I don't really know what to say other than we used to be part of a podcast, two of us with Zach Kimry, and we really had a good time with it, with MXU guys, and still love those guys, what they do. Love what Zach's doing with his new podcast. Got a bunch of friends who are doing similar things right now. But we just we missed what we got to do. And I don't know about you, Bags, but I used to have people come to me all the time, be like, hey, when's the next episode? Are you guys going to do it anymore?
Yeah.
A lot of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed it. I kind of missed it.
Yep.
And so we just kind of thought, hey, let's take our shot. Let's do it. Let's do something. But
Take
I
the
want to do something a little
Take
different.
the shot.
Yeah,
You see that? You take
it.
the shot.
But I think
Yeah.
we want to do something a little different, and hopefully it'll just be something that's kind of light, kind of fun. It'll hit your feed if you're driving in. You need 30 or 45 minutes of mindless entertainment. Hopefully we can be that for you. Have a few laughs along the way, and just talk about video production and broadcast in general.
Yeah. And the sport of golf. And the sport of golf.
And the sport of golf and other sports maybe also.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Tons
things
of
that we like.
sports broadcast stuff because, a lot of people don't know. But when we get into college football season, there'll be some very specific
sure.
sports talked about.
It's just a part of life, right? It's
Yeah, that's
what
right.
we do.
That's
It's what's going to come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Which is what we do with the golf too. I mean,
Right.
I think there's a lot of guys in our field. I feel like, have you seen that meme that it's like the guy's looking at something, I can't remember exactly, but it's like basically the guy's like looking at his past self in high school, and like your high school self is like practicing baseball, and you're like, what are you doing? Just go play golf. Because everybody who's our age just wants to play golf.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
how good could I be if I had played 30 years ago?
I know. I mean, we all see the Netflix documentary Full Swing, and we're like, hey, if I could quit my job tomorrow for a whole year, play golf, I could probably be on the. That's what it makes it feel like.
Right,
I know
right.
That's not real, but it does make it feel like.
I've played golf with you a lot. That is not in your future, Jeremy. Nor mine.
Let's just remind everyone listening who is a better golfer currently, or has been for a while.
Better
So-
handicap, yes, you do. I have a better record against you, I would say.
Oh,
still.
my God.
But
Okay.
it's changing for sure.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, let's get on to the real part of the show.
Yeah.
Like I said, we want to have this style podcast to be light, be fun. We're gonna do. We'll have the occasional interview for sure as people come along that we want to talk to and feel like they have good things to say in the fields of what we all do in live video. But I think we're also gonna do some. What I'm excited about is like let's look at some actual broadcasts that are happening.
Yeah.
In this episode, we're going to talk about the Masters, which I think is one of, if not the best sports broadcast of the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk specifics about some things that they did, things that we liked, things we didn't like. And it may not only be sports. It may be like a new Netflix concert video that came out. Or I want to do one about the Nate Bargatze release that Netflix did a few months ago. Just because I saw a bunch of people chatting about it on social media about how much they like the pace of the cuts and the interesting shots and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff we want to do. And we also want to, I think we want to have some listener feedback. You guys share stories of things that you see out in the field, kind of like a conversation podcast version of like the Facebook groups that you see were like AV disasters or just fun things that you see happening out in the world. And maybe you need some advice, and we'll be here to offer any kind of production advice that we can give you. Mostly in jest. It'll be funny, not like real advice. I mean, let's be real here. So
yeah. Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you're a dad and I'm a dad. You're married, I'm married. We travel a lot for a living. And we play golf. So we spend a significant amount of time away from our family. So at some point that just weaves in and out of what we do. And so I get a lot of questions about that. And I'm sure that'll come up from time to time. How do we lead our families when we're traveling? How do we lead? I have middle schoolers now, which is a whole nother ball of chaos. So, I love feedback. I want to learn from people who've done it before me. And so, if you are out there and done it before me, I'd love to get your feedback. And then Rusty, you and I will probably talk about how do we be dads and how we wrestle with tensions with our work being gone.
Yeah, for sure. And that's great. And again, just like, I mean, having kids is hard, but it's also pretty damn funny sometimes, if I say so myself.
Yes,
so like, let's just share some stories about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, speaking of families, if you don't mind, I'm going to go into our first topic here.
I love it.
NAB was last week.
Yeah.
I think that we should talk about it as two guys who didn't go.
It's which is crazy because it's my favorite time of the year. It literally is my favorite week of the year. I don't know how many years I've been going. 8 years. I think 8 years, or more now. I can't keep up. I mean, I know there's people that've been there, like Jeremy Lamori, who's our friend of ours, who's like mid-30s, and he's been there for 25 years, which I'm not sure how that
I saw his
works out.
pin. I saw his pin.
I know. I'm like, you were a baby. Anyway.
It blows me away that I'm older than him.
I know.
And makes me feel like I haven't accomplished anything in my life.
Correct.
Love you, Lamori.
Yes, correct. So, yeah, it's my favorite week of the year. And I didn't get to go this year. So, not because I wasn't allowed to, not because I didn't work for the right employer. It was because family came first. So, yeah. How about you,
this
Rusty?
year NAB didn't ask about our schedules right. And
I know.
Did it
how
over
dare
spring
them?
break.
I mean, geez. How dare them?
Right.
Yeah.
Spring break is such a made-up holiday. It's just, but once you have kids, it's like,
I mean, it
is a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, spring break landed at the same week as NAB, which has never happened before. And I think the entire state of Georgia, where Rusty and I live, though we still live like an hour and a half away from each other, but the entire state of Georgia
has to Atlanta.
Yeah, correct. The entire state of Georgia had the same spring break as NAB, and 10 months ago, a year ago, we went on our first cruise as a family with some of our best friends, and it was a blast. So we rebooked almost immediately for the next spring break. I didn't think to consult NAB schedule.
You booked a cruise a year out. Can we just pause right there?
When you know, you know. So it just happened. To be honest, that's how you get the best deals too. Because there's
we as a family are so bad. Maybe it's because I'm a freelancer. I have anxiety about booking things that far away, so I end up paying more.
There's a lot of awesome perks with our American Express Reserve card with travel insurance. You got to read the fine print. Anyway, so I'll just throw that little nugget out there.
We are taking sponsorships.
That's correct. That's right. We're looking at you, Amex. Anyway, so spring break landed. I didn't even think. So I just was looking up the Masters. This is probably 4 months ago, maybe. And I was like, oh, the Masters is always near NAB. I should look up when NAB is. And I'm like, wait, those dates sound very familiar.
Yeah.
And
I think you and I were texting about the Masters.
Yes.
And we're like, wait, what? NAB is that week?
Yes. And I was like, what is happening right now? So I texted Marcus, the owner of Skylark, who I work for now, and I was like, hey, bro, I am so sorry, but like, this is bad. And he's like, dude, family always comes first. He's like, do not sweat it. And I'm like, well,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I want to be there. I want to be there so bad. Like, it's my networking gene inside of me is like so much FOMO, but yeah. So floating in the middle of the Caribbean, getting text messages about NAB. So there's that.
Yep. I definitely had FOMO as well. I've have like I've been NAB, I don't know, several times, but as a freelancer, it's always been interesting for me because I don't have someone floating the bill for me to go, right? Or like it's not like an obligation of my job.
Right.
But I do find a ton of value in it, in meeting people and keeping connections going, and also just kind of seeing what's out there new with manufacturers. But totally. So we had spring break as well this year. And when you're like you and me, like we travel so much, like when you have a week where you can go on a trip with your family and your kids are out of school, it means a lot. You really do need to prioritize it. So don't regret not going, but obviously still like you miss out and have had FOMO for sure of all of our friends out in Vegas getting to hang out. So
yeah. Can we for a quick second tell the people who don't travel a lot what would be traveling a lot in your mind?
Mm-hmm.
Like I try to describe that a lot of times to people, but I don't know. Well, I don't know your numbers, but I kind of know my numbers. I ran it like a year ago, but
I have, so I've tried to keep track of the last couple of years. Like I have a spreadsheet, like kind of like every gig that I do.
Of course you would have a spreadsheet for that, of course.
Well, it's not kind of how I do like financials also. It's like I can try to plan out money for the year.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Hashtag freelance.
I don't have that regular salary.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. Okay. We all choose what we want to do. Got it.
Yep. But with that, I try to like write down how many days, how many nights in a hotel am I staying?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I judge it. And I think 2 years ago I had like 200 nights. Last year like 185, 190. This year is probably on a similar pace, like 180 nights in a hotel.
You do more than I do.
Yeah. Now the benefit of, the flip side of that is like the other 180 nights or whatever that I'm here. Yeah. Like I'm not really doing anything. Like I'm doing school carpool. I'm doing pickup at school. I'm doing whatever I can do. To be home. So it's two sides of that coin.
So you're saying you work part-time?
I'm saying I work as much as I need to provide for my family.
I'm just kidding. That's always a fun conversation we have.
Yeah.
I think my Marriott said 70 nights last year, which probably means it was more like 100. I was probably in the 100 or so range. So just still, you think about 1/3, 200 nights, bro. That's crazy.
Wait a minute. I think my numbers are way off. I'm pulling up my spreadsheet now.
I'm about to say 200 nights out of 365
I think I doubled it.
Okay. I'm like
100 nights. 100 nights. I think that's my goal is like, yes. Sorry.
Okay.
I've said like 120 is my max. I did 100 last year.
Okay. Because
maybe like 110 2 years ago.
The Titanium Elite. I hit Titanium Elite. So what is that? I think that's 75 nights.
If I ever hit 200 nights, I need you to.
Okay.
Slap
we
me.
will all collectively, slap you and say, "What are you doing?" Because I'm like, well, I don't understand 200 nights.
Yeah, I think so far this year, it's mid-April. I think I've probably missed. I've been away 40 nights. 35 nights, something like that.
Cool. Okay. The video guy in me, I know that we have a thing. We need to go to some other segments here, but the video guy in me hated that your screen turned on and it completely changed the color temperature of your face, but that's fine.
I know. I mean, it's episode 1. It's early in this thing, all right?
Okay. All right.
Got a big key light right in front of me that changes colors whenever I switch screens.
Right. So what's next? Where do we want to go from here?
So even though we weren't at NAB, we were trying to follow along.
Yep.
Anything, is there anything out there that came out that you noticed or you saw that interests you that you think people should be aware of? I have a quick game for you real quick.
Okay, well,
maybe this will lead into like what to talk about.
Well,
I'm going to give you a product name. Yeah.
I'm only 2 days in from vacation. This is Tuesday. And I'm only 2 days in from catching up. So I've met with our engineering team once and got a little bit of a lowdown. So I'm still trying to catch up. But yes, go ahead.
But you had 2 full work. You work full time, right? 2
Yes.
full work days?
2 full work days. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was a little kind of joking there. Make sure you didn't hit the golf course.
I didn't. I actually didn't. I didn't until
also, I will say,
5 o'clock today.
You mentioned that we're busy guys and dads, and we play golf and we travel. But I play golf with my family, and so do you. That's the ticket.
Yes, it is.
Play golf with your kids.
5
and your
o'clock.
Wife. My wife plays.
5 o'clock tonight. We played 9 holes, and it was fantastic. So
that's awesome. We played a family round on Hilton Head last week of spring break.
That's great.
Which was super fun.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna. I don't have a ton of these, but
cool.
I just kind of tickled me a little bit when some of these companies, especially in our industry, man, they come up with some crazy names of their products.
Yep.
And I think if you were to say some of these names to a random person, they'd think that you're making it up. So I'm going to give you a name, a product. You got to tell me if it's real or if it's fake.
I love this. Okay.
I wish I had more.
I feel
next time I go to NAB,
good about it. Okay.
Yeah. The next time I go to NAB, I'm going to walk the floor and find these. But it's actually kind of hard to find them online. Like what did people announce?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. The Evertz Dreamweaver.
No.
It's not real?
Not real.
Evertz Dreamcatcher.
That's real.
Oh, because you know that one.
Yep.
Either way, that's kind of
see. I was right.
You were right. The Dreamcatcher. They released Dreamcatcher Bravo.
Oh yeah.
Because I guess Dreamcatcher Alpha is obsolete now, so now it's on to the Pro. All I can think of. We grew up in Georgia.
Yeah.
There's a large culture of, especially
I did not even think about that.
Culture of Native American Cherokee Indians.
Kidding.
And
yes,
my parents put the Dreamcatcher things on the walls. Right.
I forgot about that.
Catch your bad nightmares and the bad spirits. Oh
man!
So, shout out to Evertz for catching the evil spirits.
Okay, we'll move on.
All right, Dreamcatcher. That's real.
Okay, yeah. Dreamweaver. That's that's funny. Anyway, moving on.
Bravo to you.
Yeah.
And to Evertz. Let's see. Blackmagic 2110 IP SDI to HDMI 12G.
True.
That is real. It's a mouthful.
That is a true product. Yes.
What does that product do? Do you know?
So Blackmagic's coming out with their whole 2110 ecosystem that's kind of like like closed loop IP broadcast video. I say closed because it's very different in a lot of ways than what the SMPTE standards are written for doing 2110, which is network video over networks or video over IP. So Blackmagic's doing their own kind of like closed IP system that only works within their world. So that's what that is doing, is some conversion.
Okay, so it's a device that you can then convert 2110 to baseband. Yeah,
it's essentially, those devices are called gateways. So, and a lot of people know gateways in the networking world, but a gateway device in the video IP world, a gateway device is getting something from packetized video over a network into an SDI stream video. So a gateway will go in or out, so to or from, and a lot of people will call it a sender or a receiver, and sometimes they're bidirectional. So that device, if it's a, what is that, 2110 to SDI? Is that what that says?
I don't know, because it says 2110 IP SDI to HDMI.
SDI.
I tried to figure out what it did.
IP SDI.
So they have 2110 IP up down cross converters now.
Huh.
And then they have, where did it go?
Maybe it's maybe we do a follow up on
small ones
on episode 2, because
I'll just say Blackmagic is getting in the 2110 game.
Yes, they are. They did it last year as well.
Yeah.
And now they are moving on up into. That's what I'm saying. That like they're creating their own. It's just much easier. This is what I'll say. Blackmagic makes some great products. it's much easier in the 2110 world to build your own thing that doesn't play with everything else. The reason why all the other manufacturers have been slow to the game or apprehensive to the 2110 game, because it's very expensive to develop products based on the open standards that the SMPTE committee published, because it's built so that products can interact with each other, manufacturers can interact with each other, and it just works across manufacturers. Yeah. So it's much cheaper to build just a isolated ecosystem. So that's why Blackmagic's doing the isolated ecosystem and still calling it 2110. So
got it. So here's what that certain device says.
Okay.
I think it's more just for monitoring. Designed for critical color accurate monitoring using the latest generation of OLED TVs, Blackmagic 2110 IP SDI to HDMI will convert 2110 IP or 12G SDI video to HDMI in all SD, HD, or Ultra HD video standards. You can do 3D LUTs, blah 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 blah. So it's really just a way to like encapsulate it down to a monitor so you can see it.
So that decapsulate. So it decaps, or it is a receiver. So that box will subscribe to a 2110 IP address essentially, and there's a whole bunch of other things that I still don't understand. But basically, it receives video and audio, decaps, packages it all together, and sends it on its way down to HDMI.
Go listen to our friend Zach's podcast.
That's right.
ZMFK.
Yep.
To learn more about that, because that's not what I'm here for. I'm too dumb for that.
Yeah. Well, we can have an expert on if we need to.
Yeah. All right, want to do one more.
Okay.
Carbonite hyperconvergence.
Hyperconverged, but convergence is not a brand name.
It's not a brand name. You work there, so you should know this. But also, like, they did announce Hypermax. In the brochure stuff, they talk about hyperconverge, and I'm just like, are we in the?
Oh,
like everybody's just.
It's hype they're not central, the only ones. Baby.
Everyone's just doing like Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Trek terminology, right? We got quantum realm or quantum digicodes. We got all this kind of crazy stuff. But the Carbonite Hypermax does sound kind of interesting.
Yeah, which I'm excited about because it's been something I was texting some of my friends at Ross and was like, congrats, because this has been a long time coming. So I'm excited about that. I'm disappointed I don't already know how it works, because I thought I did, but I think I don't know how it all works.
Yeah.
I think I know the theory of it all. But it is further plays into the modularity of what the Ultrix and the Carbonite and Acuity platforms in routing and switching can do, and how you can license it up and down. You can respin it as a same hardware, can become a different format switcher, things like that.
Yeah. As I was watching watching the live keynote from Ross.
Oh, nice.
Because our friend Andy did a live.
Oh, that's
Twitch,
right.
Which was super fun.
Shout out to Andy Bentley.
Yeah. But as they were announcing it, I was like, this actually. I was thinking about some of the shows that you and I have done before, and it's like this actually could be kind of cool. It's like you have a big switcher, but you're like, I just need it to do. You just get caught where you're like, oh, I need to split this ME, or I need to.
Yeah.
I really wish I had more keys on this one ME.
Yeah.
And just having that modularity and flexibility is kind of cool. I mean, big picture, you get 3D DVDs on a Carbonite kind of model, which is kind of cool.
Oh, did not know that.
And
that's great.
Yeah. And then just the ability to like change your switcher. Do I want one ME and a bunch of minis? Do I want 5 MEs and no minis? Do I want 2 MEs and a bunch of now they're called max scenes. I like being able to design my system for what I need that system to be for this event.
Yep.
And now, like, I feel like vendors can buy this system, and it's just like there's so many possibilities of what you could do with it.
Yeah, and I love that. And I don't know if this is completely true, but it also has access to the full Ultrix database, router database, which is a game changer as well. So,
yeah,
that's exciting. One other thing that Ross announced was a DisplayPort output for the Ultrix router, which is a big deal. So that's exciting.
What is that? Why?
So it's because you should, in theory, be able to do custom EDIDs, and you can take DisplayPort straight to a LED processor now, straight out the router, which no other router does that I know of. So
probably not in that price point,
right? So yeah,
cool.
What else you got?
The broadcast specs.
I know. Now, I don't know if it can do custom resolutions, but some type of, and I don't know if it can do custom EDIDs yet, but at least it's the.
But if you're going to have a DisplayPort, port,
yeah.
I mean, other than that, I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed in no like major lens announcements. I really need Canon or Fujinon to step up and give us something that's. So right now, basically, for any camera nerds like me, when you're in the Super 35 live cinema space, your lens options are pretty limited if you want full servo capabilities on it, right?
Yeah.
So you've got like Canon has a 25 to 250 millimeter, Fuji has a 25 to, or now the Duvo lens is 24 to 300 millimeter.
Yep.
And you can put an expander in that, and you can make it a 450, something in that 400 millimeter range. But then the next step up is for Canon, it's the 50 to 1000, and for Fuji, it's the box lens to 1000 millimeters. Yep. And the price point just gets astronomically higher. Yes. And it's hard to, especially in a lot of the venues that we work in, whether it's houses of worship or smaller corporate kind of shows, you can't always afford that big box lens.
Yeah.
Or even the $80,000 Canon lens. So, I mean, I'm just really hoping for someone to announce something that's like a 500 millimeter or 600 millimeter. But I guess that kind of is cannibalizing their own product line potentially. So,
yeah, it's interesting. I can't remember exactly what the Fuji rep told me about all that, but I think it's just hard, just the mechanics and everything and the glass, and it gets really tough to fit it all. So, yeah.
Well, now they have to, especially with Fuji, like their Duvo lenses will cover a full frame, so it's like they're having to try to cover so many different sensor sizes. Yep. Whereas before, as a B4 mount, was like every sensor is the same and it's uniform, and that's not the same anymore.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I think I'll have a lot better idea of NAB product announcements when I, next week or so, because I've just been digging out of my email, not let alone researching what has been announced at NAB.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of the benefit of a cruise, right? Is like you're kind of forced to unplug.
You are forced, and then you get forced to buy the internet package, which freaking is expensive.
How much does that set you back?
$150. Anyway, but I bought it the day before I set sail, so I saved 15%.
We might have to do one of these shows, do a debate about cruising, because I think we're going to be on opposite sides.
You cannot have the debate until you go on one. That's the bottom line.
It's been a few years. I haven't been on any I did go. I worked an event on one of the Royal Caribbean flagships.
You just got to go on the big boats. The big boats are game changers. So I don't mess with those little rinky-dink boats. So yeah,
well,
it's game changer for
Titanic. I thought it was fine. It'd be on a big boat too.
The middle schoolers that I took we had 5 families, or actually more than that, but with friends from school that we all trusted, and it was awesome. So it was a vacation for everybody.
You kind of didn't see your kids for a few days.
I don't know if I want to answer that question.
No judgment, Bats.
We had a good time. We had a great time. My kids checked in with me and my wife, and I spent a good time in the casino too. So,
okay,
yeah.
Any luck?
I had moments of luck.
That's how it goes.
No, it was a continuous shuffle blackjack table, which we all know screws the odds up. So it's a really tough situation. So I lost the money that I started with, which means is the money that I planned on losing. So there's that.
Just it's entertainment money. That's just, as long as you have that mindset.
So here's the deal. As I told my kids every day, we're like, Dad, are you up? Are you down? And I'm like, well, I had some days that I was up, I had some days I was down. At the end of the cruise, they're like, are you up and or down? And I was like, here's the deal. I spent less money in the casino than I have spent at an arcade for you guys for one night.
Yes. Amen.
And mine was 6 nights in a casino, So
yep.
They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah. So
those freaking arcades are criminal.
Yes, they are.
I mean, you got 3 kids. You'll go into an arcade for an hour and a half. You'll drop $200.
It's horrible
for $3 of trinkets that you could have bought on Amazon.
Oh, if I have another birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, Lord help me. Anyway,
man.
Yeah. All right. Next on our list.
I'm sure there's a bunch of NAB stuff we're missing, but
yeah.
We'll get around to it.
I did love. I did love the the guy from Behind the Broadcast did a bunch of social media stuff with. I loved that. I loved it.
Yeah, he's crushing it.
Love seeing him rock that, and shout out. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. All right, I think we should move on to the Masters. Cue the music.
Oh yeah.
Cue Jim Nantz.
Boom.
This will be one of the things we want to do, as we talked about in the intro, is look at actual real world examples of broadcasts that are happening and just kind of like critique them, good and bad. Like what's working, what can we learn from, that kind of thing. Things that we're noticing. Because if you're like us, when you're watching live TV or any kind of, and not even live, when you're watching media, you are constantly evaluating.
Yeah, I'm constantly saying what they're doing wrong.
Yeah. For sure.
I do say, I mean, my family knows that they're learning quickly. Like, I'll be like, oh, that looks awesome. And they're like, what? What looks awesome? What are we supposed to be looking at?
Yeah. So this week, if you're not a golf fan, you'd have to live under a rock.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you are not a golf fan this week. I looked up the stats, by the way.
Of how many viewers?
Yeah. Did you see that it came out today?
I did. I mean, it's the most viewed golf thing in the last 7 years. I think it was the most viewed CBS non-NFL broadcast ever.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So nobody can compete with the NFL. NFL's different. But I think it peaked at around over 10 million viewers at peak.
So, 12.7 million viewers. Which
in
is
the U.S.
33% increase from the final round last year. 33% increase.
Which had a big name, Scotty Scheffler winning that one.
I actually had 2 big names. Like, we'll just say the most up-and-coming YouTuber in golf. I mean, he's not up-and-coming anymore. He is the biggest YouTuber. And then you have Rory.
Yep.
It literally is like yin and yang of the golf world. Anyway.
It was the perfect story. Like, you could not craft this. You could not write it any better. And then the drama unfolding throughout the day. I started wearing a Whoop recently, and I was able to go in and look at my stress, and it's just like freaking mountains and craters for 3 hours watching the back nine.
Yeah.
Sorry, the second nine. I apologize, Augusta. You have to call it the second nine, not the back nine.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. So it was so much fun to watch it as a golf fan. I'm personally a huge Rory fan. He's 5 years younger than me, so it feels like a contemporary. And to see the drama unfold, the ups and the downs, some of the most boneheaded shots I've ever seen in my life. Shots that I have hit, like just duffing a wedge from 80 yards into the water.
Yep.
And then some of the most miraculous shots I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Hooking a 7-iron on 15 to hit the green in 2 was amazing. Yeah.
So in my world, full disclosure, there happened to be opening for the MG. So we at our golf club, we have this MGA, Men's Golf Association, where we play quota games, which we'll talk in a later thing about all that side of golf. But there was an opening to play that landed me getting done at 4 o'clock, which I knew would give me right at the back nine
on Sunday.
Second nine on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I watched in the cart while I played. I watched the front 9 of Rory.
Okay.
And
Bryson. So this might explain. You showed me that scorecard. This might explain your like 5 birdies and 6 doubles.
Yes,
because that's kind of what Rory did.
Yes, it was wild.
Just channeling Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, I just moved my camera. Sorry.
That's
okay.
Good.
Yeah, my foot.
For a living or anything.
No, I know. My foot hit the tripod. All right. Yeah. So I watched all the Masters on the boat. I watched the Masters Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We came home, watched the Masters. Sunday, I watched the beginning chunk, and then I watched 4 o'clock through 6:30 or whatever. So, yeah. Who
I was
who
on
are
the
you,
beach.
Who are you pulling for?
Well, I was on the beach Thursday. Rory all day.
Okay. That's right.
I was on the beach Thursday, Friday with my iPad and like a Bluetooth speaker, sitting there watching the Masters. Saturday, watched it driving home. Got home in time Saturday to watch all of the leaders round, and then I probably watched a total of, at least 20 hours of Masters broadcast the last 4 days. So
yeah.
Not to mention the par 3 on Wednesday. I watched probably more, about 30 hours of Masters this week.
I love that.
But I was pulling for Rory for sure. I'm a huge fan. I wanted him to get the career Grand Slam. If you don't know, that's like before him, only 5 people in the history of golf had ever won all 4 major championships in their career.
Yeah.
And so he has tried now for 11 years in a row to become the 6th person, and has failed every time, failed heroically, and also failed to even get a master in the last 10 years, or to get a major in the last 10 years. So I was pulling for him, but also just pulling for drama. What I love about sports is I love feeling something, you know?
Yep.
And this is a tangent, but like you and I are Georgia fans, and winning the national championship in 2021, would I have liked to win one sooner? Absolutely. I would have liked to have won one when I was in college or whatever.
Yep.
But that 2021 win meant so much. Like it felt so much more satisfying because of what I had gone through as a Georgia fan my entire life. So same thing for this Masters. It's like I'm sure for Roy too, like it just meant so much more after all the heartache that he's been through. And for me, when I watch sports, that's what I want. I want to feel something, good or bad.
Yeah. Preferably not bad, but yes.
Sure.
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. It's amazing. I actually was rooting for Bryson, which I know I am the like oddball of the group, but I was like, man, I just love Bryson's story. If you don't know Bryson's story, you should go learn about it. But I just love what he's done, the change that he's made to himself, to his golf swing.
Has he really made it?
I don't know.
That's what's hard to me. He definitely is like.
Okay, I don't know.
He's so thirsty back. He's so thirsty. He wants all the attention, and that's what rubs me the wrong way. Like I actually like him.
I actually don't see it that way.
I like his YouTube stuff for the most part. I just feel like the whole like, let me high five every fan is just.
I love it. It's not a show. It's not a show.
He wants
when
to be liked.
Real, it's real. Oh my gosh! Why? How are you judging that? Like, how do you don't know that?
Well, you don't know the opposite's true.
You're right, but guess what? I'm gonna give them that little guy, big guy, the benefit of the
big
doubt.
Golfer.
Yeah. But I do. I love the fan engagement. I love the like. I'm probably like non-traditional in that, so yeah, that's what I like. I like what he's doing on YouTube. I like the take it or leave it. I really like the hole-in-one over his house thing. I thought
loved it. I had fun with that. That's great.
Yeah. So I just think it's like this is when I don't know. There was something where he was like when he finally felt released to be who he like himself. That's what he said is like part of this like journey for him, and he's like he found this freedom to do just whatever he wanted to do, and I'm like, good for you. Like that's what I think we're all craving anyway. So I think it's great. I think Rory has had a massive transition psychologically or emotionally, and like he's very forthcoming about all that as well. So I think that's also helped get him to the place where he won the Masters too. So both of the stories are worth celebrating, from the personal triumph and the overcoming some of the things that kind of stood in their way mentally and emotionally. That's my part. That's what I love. I love seeing people overcome those type of challenges.
For sure. And I mean, Rory's celebration at the end, just like hitting the ground on his knees, crying. Like I teared up. I mean,
I did too.
awesome.
I was sitting there on the couch with my son, and I was like, Weston, you just don't understand. Like, this is like, and he was there with, he was like, oh my, I mean, like, I was like, you just don't understand because my son's 12, so he's learning how to be a golf fan. So I was like, this is what it's about, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, you and me as guys who've been married a long time, trying to do life, trying to be good husbands and dads. Like when he had there was all public information about Roy and his wife are going to get divorced last year, and they called off the divorce and like worked it out. And I mean, if anyone that's been married as long as we have can feel for that, and like, so when he goes off the green and like embraces his wife, it's like, man, that's awesome. I love that.
Loved it. Yep.
All right, but we should talk about the broadcast.
Yes, broadcast.
Drinking a Guinness in honor of Rory. I've been doing it all week. I'm at
Cheers.
Irish.
Your gut must be loving you.
Okay, so I'm going to show. This is a visual podcast. We're video people, so if you're listening, you might want to try to find some of these clips on social. Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll be on YouTube at some point, but we'll do our best to describe them. I'm going to show here a few things that I saw, and if you've got some as well, throw them in there. Yeah, the branding is it's like so simple.
So good.
I don't even think it's changed over the years all that much. And it's just the way they control the branding, and it's so uniform. I was reading this interesting article about how much money they make in 1 week. Right, I think they have $70 million of merchandise sales in 1 week. But someone did this like study on like how much money are they actually leaving on the table.
Oh, I saw that.
And it's hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes.
Because they only sell the stuff once a year, 1 week a year. You can't buy it any other time. You can't buy it online. You have to go there. But then also, like, they don't charge CBS any money to broadcast it, which is unheard of. And the reason they don't is that as soon as they make CBS pay for it, CBS is going to have ownership rights and like creativity rights. Yep. And the Masters is not willing to give that up.
Correct.
Which I think that's just like remarkable. It's like we are going to say no to the money so we can because we value the brand so much. Yeah. That we want to have control over how the brand hits everybody else, like how they view it, how they see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just it's like timeless.
Timeless for sure.
Timeless.
So I've got this pulled up here. This is I just noticed this pip. It was like, I think this might have been Saturday. Yep. They were interviewing Rory after one of his rounds. And I don't know, we do a lot of different kind of pip looks and different kind of, shows and broadcasts that we do. And it just kind of hit me that like, pips. Lots of pips. It hit me that like, hey, they're not trying to make the boxes the same height. And they have like different top lines. Yep. Do I like it? Do I not like it? I think I kind of like it.
It stood out to me, like I couldn't get my phone out fast enough to take a picture, and I was like, I'm looking at it on my computer screen right now, but what stood out to me was like, it was very refreshing, because like for me, like in the world that I'm in, we're always like trying to decide, like when we're in a pip, like do we go to a pip, and then is there are the boxes shaped in the way you can cut different camera angles into it and it not look wonky and weird. And then also you want to go, you're in a 16:9 frame, and then you need a 16:9 image and then a smaller pip. And so it's like always a challenge. And I just thought the way they did this with the logo, with the background,
right.
It brought some like, it just didn't feel rigid. I don't know. There's something about Rory's that square. It's not even square. It's actually a rectangle. The way that's up higher is like, yeah, I really like that.
I think they actually thought this through. Rory, when in this interview, well, one, like, let me just acknowledge Rory standing still, right? So you don't have to follow him, so you can do a super tight shot. I acknowledge that. Sometimes you can't always do that.
Yep.
But I think they knew. Here's what I'm going to say it. They knew that in this interview, he's going to be looking down at a monitor because the interviewer is asking him about this shot. And so by putting his pip above the big pip, you get the visual like he's looking down at that thing. You know what I mean?
Yep. And
I
you know
think they
what's
thought all that through.
You know what's awesome that I just noticed? The top of his hat, look where it's at.
Yeah, it's at the top of the big 16.9 pip.
Yeah.
It lines up with that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
This next picture is they bring in the score. Like,
oh, yeah,
there's a little spot. They've got a spot for that little score bug.
Yep.
It's just super clean. I like it. I like the big white borders on it.
Yep. Where did you get these pictures from?
I just took them on my computer. These are from my TV.
Okay.
So shout out to them. Hopefully, this is
I'm
okay
trying to
for us
figure out
do.
what this frame is around us.
That's my frame TV. That's my frame TV, and we bought custom teak. We're bougie. We bought custom teak wood frames around it.
Okay, freelancing coming out. Okay, I got you. I'm just kidding.
Okay,
I'm just kidding. Because I'm like trying to figure out is this some? I was very confused, and I want to make sure our audience knew. If you're looking at this, the pip is actually inside the wood border, right? The wood border is not a texture that they created, right? Your TV is the wood border, right?
Yes, my TV has the wood border.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm like, man,
that would be next level.
It looks like a picture hanging on the wall. That's what I.
That is the point of the Samsung frame.
Okay, I want to talk about that more.
You can get different colors.
I want to know what you think. Okay, we'll talk about that more later. Okay.
All right, here's another picture of this one. I took a picture on my laptop.
I didn't know what
this was. Did you remember seeing this?
No, I think I know exactly what channel you were watching.
Well, I was watching CBS.
Wasn't that CBS?
Yeah, this was early on before they teed off, obviously, because they're saying they're going to tee off at 2:30.
Okay. I was going to say, it kind of looks like a Golf Channel thing to me, but okay.
It could have been. I'm not sure, actually. But it was interesting, 2 pips. You got a lot of graphics working around. These were actually videos that were playing inside those boxes. And it's just visually interesting. You see the videos of them swinging. You've got good information about what their score is when they're teeing off. And it's just kind of it tells the story to me of it is 1v1. These two guys are facing off against each other.
I love the Masters logo connecting the 2 boxes. Number 1.
That's a good call out. Yeah. It anchors the whole thing, right?
It does. It does. I love the shadow at the bottom underneath the where the 230 is. There's a shadow. So it looks like that whole thing is sitting on grass, which I love. I love elegant 3D. I don't love cheap 3D. I think most of our, cheap 3D in my mind is Microsoft Word art. Okay, that's cheap 3D. Anything stock, standard, anything you just can click and apply and it does it is cheap. Elegant is this,
you gotta,
where it's very intentional, caressed, done well, where it's it. I could imagine this sign sitting on grass at Augusta National. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It looks real. It looks done very, very appropriately. Everything.
And that goes back to the branding package, right? They have their palette, they have their their fonts and their looks, and they do not deviate from that.
From a broadcast standpoint, if we're talking broadcast, this type of 3D VR scenario where it's a live, I'm assuming this is a live camera shot.
Those are the background.
Yeah, the background.
I think the background probably may not. It was captured at least. It was.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. It wasn't. Yeah. It's not a still image. It's definitely a moving video. But but that is the name of the game in broadcast sports right now, right? Football, it's the scoreboard landing on the 50-yard line, all that. You know when it's gross, and you know when it's done really well. So yeah, this one's done.
I was also just noticing that the black borders are translucent a little bit, so you see that background coming through. I like that.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's awesome. It's done, really well. So, and it takes a real artist to create this type of thing. That's what I appreciate, the level of detail. And I think coming from our world, where I'm not necessarily an artist, but I think a lot of non-artists will see things and appreciate art. So I appreciate somebody went through the detail to make it happen.
Yep, agreed. I got a few more.
Let's go.
I got a sequence of 3 here that I noticed. This was like, it just spoke to me about the storytelling through graphics. So this graphic showed up a bunch as they were trying to tell the story of Rory McIlroy is trying to achieve the career Grand Slam. Only 5 people have done it. So they kept showing this graphic. These are the 5 people who have achieved this incredible goal. Yep. And then they did this cool transition to this. So it's like, here's Rory. Rory's trying to add to that list, right? So they did 1, then they did 2. And I don't mean, for obvious like legal reasons, I don't have the video of this, but the background image was a video moving the whole time, and so it had this amazing dimension to it. So anyway, they're telling the story. There were 5. 5 people have done it. Rory, here he is. He's not with them. He's on the outside looking in. This is his 11th attempt to do it.
So good.
And you better freaking believe when he did it, they had the graphic ready. Now he's part of the group.
Love it.
I just like, man, you just bookended it. You called back to the graphic that you've been pointing at for hours now, and you had it ready, and you've got a picture of him from that day. Yep. That's the outfit he was wearing, and now he's in that group with them, whereas before he was on the outside trying to join them.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's so many. So we do a lot of live events where there's an in-room audience and then there's the broadcast audience. I think there's a lot of lessons to learn in the broadcast world because for the live events to learn from broadcast. And I think the attention to detail of like we watching our TV screen, we only can see the story by what we're given and what we hear. And it's so important to the excellence in the visuals. Like, what are we going to do? Just watch somebody talk in this moment? No, we need a visual. Like, this is just the perfect example of like, I need a visual to help connect the dots of what's being said. You know, Jim Nantz obviously is one of the best storytellers ever. And his way with words, but like him just talking on camera would not be the same effect as this.
Right. Yeah. But when you pair the two together, it's like match made in heaven.
Correct. So, yeah, I love that. Love all that.
I'll go through a couple of quick ones real quick. I thought this is just like the general look of that they did the whole time.
Yep.
You've got a little bug in the top left. I was replaying it. That's why it says Final Round Encore. You got the main score bug in the top right of who you're watching, where they are, what shot they're on, and then I love just the simple leaderboard at the bottom right. It's really only showing you the people that you need to know about because they're the only ones that are actually have a chance of winning this thing right now. Yep. And then I saw this actually going around on social media a little bit, which I thought was funny. That other people noticed this too. But right there where it says for career Grand Slam, they added that for a career Grand Slam. That was not there. And then they cut to this shot, and then the little, probably expression or whatever, thing pops out of the bottom, and it just hits you with that truth bomb right there. Like,
that's great.
That's what he's doing for right now. Again, that same thread. This is the storyline that we're trying to weave through everything we do today, and we're gonna even pop it on this look as he puts it in. Or actually, I think he missed this putt.
Yeah, he does.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I love the scoring bug. A little bit of backstory. Like if you don't know broadcast golf, every shot is not live, although it's broadcasted as live. So they're basically recording every shot, and then they'll cut
because you can't. Like the shots are happening at the same time.
I mean, you'll learn the rhythm, and then there's a 30-foot putt, and they're like so and so for birdie after 40 feet away, and you're like, cool, and he makes it, and you're like, wait, we just happened to cut to that live, and he made it. No,
right? Yeah.
He made it 30 seconds ago. But what's really intriguing from a technology standpoint is that guy made that birdie 30 seconds ago, but the scoring bug on the bottom has not changed until we saw that birdie made.
They don't give it away before the viewer gets to see it.
Yes.
That's mind blowing.
So it is. I was like, wait a minute, because I watched it at the broadcast, because I've been learning over the probably the past 6 years and understanding more and more about how golf broadcast works. And this year I was very intentional to make sure, like, watch for that. And that score like flashes and animates, when we see that putt made. And it's like, I was like, oh, that is like, that scoring bug is downstream of any broadcast, happening anyway. It's wild.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
And like that right now, it's green highlighted on the McElroy part.
Yes.
That's all like done live too, right? It's like
Yes.
It's all logic, if then statements, right? Like when the camera shot of Rory comes up, they tell the graphics machine to change the look of his name on that table.
Yeah.
And highlight it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of data. I mean, there's a whole data team. I mean, there's I don't know how much I can say, but I mean, when I was there 3 years ago, it was I don't know, a team of like 50 people in one room just doing scoring data. Just scoring data.
That's wild.
And all those ones and zeros in a basically XML file or spreadsheet or whatever, however they were collating the data, gets shipped off to all the data graphics machines, right? Takes the data and then displays them the way they want to. So, yeah, it's a lot.
Impressive.
Yep. What you got next?
All right, I've got one more. It's a series of photos. So we've all noticed lately, especially in what we do, whether it's churches, house of worship, or even corporate stuff, a lot of more cinematic capture is happening in live multi-camera environments with cinematic.
Forgot about this.
And then it started coming into sports, and there's a lot of like the sideline stuff, and and sometimes it's like, yeah, that works. Sometimes like that doesn't really work for me.
Yep.
The way the Masters did it at the end was like, this is why we do cinematic. When I only want to see what, like, I don't like.
Oh, that's fair.
The crowd right now.
That's the right
is
thing.
Ancillary.
Yes.
I do care that the crowd is celebrating, but I want to know the emotion on his face.
Yeah.
So this is him celebrating. This is him walking up the path to go sign the scorecard. You actually kind of see one of the guys on the bottom right. That's one of the rigs they're using. It's like a Venice or some sort of Sony system with a gimbal. And they did a follow the whole. I just followed him up the whole dadgum walk, and it was like,
I know,
his reactions, him, like all this stuff, and it's just the bokeh, the shallow depth of field helps me focus on what I need to focus on, and everything else could just kind of like be ancillary to the story of the frame of what's happening. And this was amazing. I loved it.
It's funny you say that, because this exact moment you were saying this, I was like, man, I wish I could see the audience more.
Really?
I wish I could see the patrons more. Yeah, it just felt like, and it's wild to me, like I do not care about broadcast versus cinema discussion. Like for me, I think it's a worn out discussion. I just think it's more of like what do you want the end user to focus on? Like, you get the right tool for the right job, right? And I just think, I agree with you on the green, the celebration, the walk up. He walked so many times to different people. It was like, I was like, I think we just needed a broadcast. I think we just needed everything in focus at that point. So that's kind of why, yes, in a still image like this, it looks great. But I was
interesting
wanting to see. Yeah.
People should go watch it. You can go to masters.com and watch this.
I feel the same way about touchdown celebrations in the NFL and college football. Like, I want to see from the end zone to the sideline, and I want to see the coach's reaction. I don't want to see them blurred out. So that's why but they're using gimbal. They use a very similar rig like this. So I am the same. Yes, it looks beautiful. If you're as a director, that's fine. I don't care. If that's what your goal is, then that is a great shot. I just wouldn't, or I need to get used to not seeing the fan detail or the patrons detail.
Yeah, the patrons. Thank you.
Patrons detail.
That's interesting. I need to go back and watch it now. I feel like if, like the people he went up and talked to, they were, I'd be
They were
curious,
in
like, were they always in
focus.
focus?
They
Yeah, if
were
they're in
all in
focus.
focus,
Like,
but it was like
you just want to see the like.
I want to
But like, if you
see
just
everyone
cut to a jib
cheering.
shot, they
Yeah,
cut to the 18th green jib shot. Does that do enough for you, or do
I
you?
don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, it's good. I love the little bit of diversity in the take there. I'm curious what other people think.
Yeah. And
I
it's
just
not,
love, like,
again, it's not a matter of cinema versus broadcast. It's like,
right.
if that's what your goal is, then it's the right tool.
Yep.
We just need to, like, I don't want to do it for cool sake. If you're doing it
For
because
sure.
you really want this, like your explanation of why you love that is awesome, you know? And so
Yep.
great. If you're the director, then that's exactly, you got the right outcome for that. So
Earlier we talked about Jim Nance and kind of his storytelling. You may have seen this. I love that this is like a 7-minute interaction of when he made the putt, he did his first celebration, he hugs the caddy, shakes hands with Justin Rose, embraces Justin Rose, and then walks up here. It's like 7 minutes. And Jim Nance and Trevor Immelman, who are the broadcasters, in that 7 minutes say maybe like 3 sentences.
yeah.
And then they just sit in silence, and you hear, you get everything. You get the beautiful shots, you get the wide shots and the tight cinematic shots. You see the patrons, you see Rory, you see all the embraces, all the people he loves, all the people that have been there with him. You see the heartbreak on someone like Justin Rose.
Yep.
You just see, and you hear everything. The mixing is amazing. You hear all of that happening, and I just love that, like, Jim Nance and Trevor don't step on it.
Yep.
They just let the story unfold.
My favorite line to emphasize what you're saying was, he turns around like he's almost to the end. And if you've ever been to Augusta National, you can visualize where it was. But then, he looks and he's seeing the entire patrons, gallery that he just walked through. And he's like, I'm going to go get my green jacket now. That was like, that was the best line. He's like, I'm going to go get my green jacket now. And then he walks off. I was like,
kudos to that who was mixing that broadcast that had that mic.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool. That's all the visual stuff I got.
I had a few things, but this is kind of like the triumphal ending, but I don't have any visuals, but I have one thing about the graphics that I felt like I realized it on Sunday that I have the broadcast golf has now forced me to expect the tracker on every shot. And when the tracker doesn't exist, I'm like, what?
So the tracker, for those you don't know, is there's the tracer that as they hit the golf ball, it overlays on the camera shot where that golf ball is going.
I mean, there was a handful of shots that did not have the tracer.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? I don't even know what this experience is. I was like, I don't even know what experience this is. I was like, this is crazy. And,
you know what's funny?
Yeah.
So my son is 11, and he's only ever seen golf with a tracer because he watches YouTube golf, which has tracers on it, and he watches PGA Tour, which has tracers on it most of the time. So Sunday morning, I was like, I want you to watch 2011 Masters when Rory blew it.
Cool. Yeah.
He went to the back 9 with a 4-shot lead, and he, if you don't remember, maybe you don't care, but to me it's hilarious. He was on the 10th tee box. He hit it. He hooked it so far left that when they found the ball, the camera shot showed cabins. I had no idea there were freaking houses on the grounds of Augusta National.
The amateurs stay there, so
yeah. But it's like they've never been shown on TV.
Yeah,
and he hit it so far left.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was showing Luke this 2011 golf footage, and he the first thing he said was like, "Where's the tracer? I can't see where the ball's going." I was like, "Man, that's I know you're spoiled."
I know. I literally thought in my mind,
could you watch football without a first down marker? No.
I know. Nope. Yeah. So it's like, man, that tracer, my son and I were awesome, and the data associated with it, like, what was his ball speed? Like, all that stuff. So I just think all that stuff enhances, and I know it's so much money that goes into making that happen. But I'm very, very appreciative of it because it does make the broadcast so much better. Because like, just think about, what is that? Was it 15?
The heroic shot that Roy hit.
Yeah, the 7-iron hook around the trees.
Without the tracer, you have no idea.
No idea. But with that tracer, you're instantly like, whoa. You know, like there's been some Tiger shots that we watched in 2010, 2008, all this stuff that we kind of were like, I think that's a good shot. I hear a bunch of people screaming.
Yeah.
And then you see it land, and you're like,
Tiger's
okay, great.
reaction.
Right.
You're like, if he walks after it, you think it's good.
Right.
And now you get both. You get like player's reaction and you get the visual identifier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
shout out to whoever figured that technology out, because it really has made the game of golf so much better.
Yeah, the tracer's great. I do like that. A few things I noticed was like a couple of times it made me think about, as a video director, sometimes you have a good shot that you overuse. And like the Masters, CBS, whoever's doing this, they might overuse the jib shot at number 12 on the bridge at Amen Corner. It's like the same,
it's a lot.
Rise over the bridge with the sun peeking through, and it's a beautiful shot, but it starts to get repetitive. Which is just a good reminder, like all these like fancy tools we have, a wire cam or a whatever, like they can get repetitive. It doesn't matter how much they cost. You've got to find new creative ways to use it.
And I don't think there's any drones still that I remember from the Masters broadcast. I didn't see.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not any live ones anyway. I don't think they would allow that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're anti that. But in some other golf broadcasts, there are drones.
Yeah,
which golfers
with the tracer, which is kind of cool though.
That is kind of cool.
There was a bunker cam one time.
I do remember that. And to be honest, I've had beefs with bunker cams because the white balance is always off. The color, something is not right with it, because we all know it's probably a much cheaper sensor lens, camera. And I was actually impressed that it somewhat matched. So I was like, oh.
Yeah, they look good.
That shot. Yeah.
There's one time I just didn't like how it was used. It was like, to me, the bunker cam, so it's just like it's a little camera hiding in the bunker so you can see, because a lot of times the bunkers are like kind of like below the eye level, below horizon. So the cameras that are around the green, around the course, can't really see into the bunker.
Yep.
So they put little cameras inside so you can see where the player's at. But there was just one shot, I don't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday, and they just kind of like, the player was in the bunker and they just like went to the bunker cam and stayed there. Like it was the A cam of that moment. And to me, it felt like it just wasn't, it was a POV camera. Like you couldn't move it. And so it wasn't composed very well, because where he was in the bunker, like he was in a weird spot of that frame.
Yeah.
And it just made me think like, man, sometimes it's kind of like the pylon cam in football. Like I don't want to see the play from the pylon cam. I just want to see the pylon cam when I need to, when they're trying to cross the goal line.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was like the bunker cam should just be used for when it's additive and not when it's like, it should never be an A cam. I guess
it should never be an A cam. It should be, it's probably replay. It's probably on a replay. Like that's what good use for it.
It was there for a long time. That'd be a weird.
I'm saying that's when it's good for.
Correct.
Like it's good for replay. Or right as he's making the swing.
Yeah. Or when you want to emphasize like look how high he has to hit this thing. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Overall, it's still. I don't know. I just think there is an elegance to the Masters broadcast that I know. Rory said in his post round interview how thankful he is that Masters does not allow phones. I was
about to say that. Go ahead.
It is by far the best decision the Masters has ever made. I think we have to get to a place where more sporting, like culturally, we got to get to that. I don't know. There's just something special about it. And I think everyone understands it and agrees with it, but somebody just has to have the guts to do it,
Augusta has the guts to like, do what society won't.
Correct.
Like, I mean, this is not the best photo because of the bokeh and the sound at the field, but I know that on all the wide shots of the celebrations, I noticed like there's no one holding a phone, and it's just so much better.
So much. And it's not that I don't want to see it. It really is like the euphoria of being in a. I'm just so excited for those patrons, right? For those attenders that they saw something that will never be on their phone, and they didn't see it through a lens. And like I read some comments on Instagram about it, and some people are like, I don't mind it, I don't even think about it anymore. But I'm like, but when you multiply it by thousands,
that doesn't make it right.
Yeah, when you multiply it by thousands, it's like, it still is like, we all know deep down inside, it's like there's something special about that moment. And
yeah,
I think it's awesome. I think, Rory said it best. He said they're more engaged. He said it's the most engaged golf spectators of any tournament. I'm like, well, because they don't have their phones in their hands.
They don't have their phones.
Yeah.
The broadcast even did a good job of like telling that story a little bit, because they would show, like, if you're on the course as a patron, you have no idea what is happening anywhere else on the course except for they still have manual labor scoreboards.
Yeah.
There's guys behind the scoreboard pulling off panels and putting up new numbers.
Yeah.
And so like if you're on a green, once the players on your green finish, then they start changing numbers. And so you're sitting there waiting for the manual update of, okay, what did Rory do on 6? What did he do on 8?
Yep.
And you get these roars and gasps and moans erupting because people are getting to experience it in real time all together. Right. Super cool. And it's just like, I mean, I don't want to see your video of the concert you went to. It does nothing for me.
So I literally, like, where were we at on our cruise? And one of our friends were like, Jeremy, do you want to take a video or photos of this? I'm like, to be honest, no. I was like, I was like, how many more pictures and photos do I need of my kids? I literally said that out loud. I'm like, so I was like, no. So we just lived in the moment, and it was, I was like, what am I going to do with it? Right? Like, probably not going to post on Instagram because I'm going to forget. It's probably not going to be good enough, whatever. Like, I don't even care. So I care about kids. I don't care about having just one more photo or video, but
for sure. And I've seen my kids, like, when I or someone else in our family pulls a phone out to take a picture of them, they change how they're acting. And I was like, well, that's not the point of this.
Dumb. I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a good rant.
All right. Well, we've been going about an hour. I mean, a little over an hour, actually, about all this kind of stuff. I think it was fun to kind of dig into the actual broadcast. I want to do more of that.
Yeah.
And see kind of what, as kind of like current events, right? As things pop up, we'll talk about them.
And I'll do better homework. You did a lot of great homework. You need to do your homework. I'll do better homework next time. I'll bring some stuff to the table.
I appreciate it. Cool. Yeah. So I think we're supposed to tell people to like it and subscribe if they want to keep listening. Tell people about it.
Subscribe button. That's what people do.
That's what they say. Do that, and we'll keep this thing going, and we'll have more conversations, and just fill up your feed with hopefully some good time, good laughs, and a little learning along the way.
Yep.
So, peace.
Later.